Hey, everybody, coming at you with my much longer look at The Breadwinner. I already did my minute long one for the people who just kind of want the ins and outs of the movie, what I thought about it. But this one I get to process a little bit more, which is why I started this whole thing, just so I could have a place to process my thoughts because I watch a lot of movies and trying to watch 100 movies this year in the theaters because the point of this, we should all be in the theaters. And yeah, I know there's a lot of discussions on theater etiquette and everything, and that can come with this, but first we have to save the theaters, right? First we have to save the movies and going to the movies. And to do that, studios also have to play a hand in giving us some fresh and original stories. And we've had a lot of them this year, right? So many, like, go back and watch all the movie reviews. I've been blown away by the amount of new storytelling this year, new voices this year. And so that's why this kind of hurts to review this one because it's like a step back into the land of lack of ideas. And I feel really bad saying that too because I'm a big fan of Nate Bargatze's comedy, like his specials. I thought he did a phenomenal job. Probably one of the top five hosts of the last couple of years on SNL in terms of a solid show both times with his jokes and the way he delivers things. I'm a big fan of Mandy Moore. I always have kind of appreciated and loved the way that she took like a different lane. She came out of that, late 90s pop era where everybody was kind of fighting to stand out amongst a crowd of very similar music. And she went into these really great films, right? And movie roles and took some really big chances. Like if you haven't seen Saved, great film. I loved her in Princess Diaries, Walk to Remember. I am a big fan of This Is Us. And so it's just kind of disappointing that you have all this talent that kind of came together to make this. And also, just positives of this, you have a great kind of standout pop up cast throughout this. Colin Jost, Camille Nojami, Will Forte, all bringing their own gifts and delivery to this movie. But it just can't be boosted with them. But there were some great things you could have done with them, right? Some really interesting dynamics you could have played with them. You could have had a really interesting dynamic between Nate Bargatze's character and Will Forte that didn't really play out. You could have had a deeper competition that played out between Nate Bargatze and Colin Jost that started a kind of spark but didn't play out, like the competition for the attention of the moms. Colin Jost being the super nice guy on the outside but having this really dark side on the inside would have been a great dynamic for a comedy. His competition at the job between him and Camille Najami would have been great. Oops, sorry, dropped my phone. But they threaded these stories but then didn't go anywhere with them, and you could have canceled out the other two stories and just taken one of those pathways to make a really conflict driven comedy movie. But instead they went with, hey, you remember like in the 90s we had all these sitcoms with just really dumb dads who just are ineffective, and oh, isn't it funny to be a dumb dad, and that their wives have to take care of not only their kids but this man baby. Wasn't that a hilarious time? Let's make a whole movie about it. And that's kind of how this movie plays out. Like he doesn't know how to do anything. And as a dad myself with three kids, it's almost insulting that this still exists. This idea that what I don't know anything about eggs or grocery shopping or my kids' lives or how to do laundry or just any of that stuff. And like I said in the minute, when they did this in Mr. Mom, Michael Keaton did such a great job with it. Terry Garr did such a great job with it because it was so relevant at that time. And I'm a Gen Xer slash millennial, was born in the late 70s, and that was a time period, right? That was a thing. The economy was going south, people were getting fired, women were going to work, husbands were staying home, and this was a social happening. This was a social change, and John Hughes did a really heartfelt job playing it out in that society of what that looked like, what was the dynamic, how was this changing things. And so when Michael Keaton doesn't know how to do laundry or doesn't know how to shop for ham or cheese at the grocery store or drives through the wrong way through the pickup service, which is a line we always use in my house, you're doing it wrong. North to pick up, south to drop off, all these things, right? And it was heartfelt and it was a real social examination. But we've had, 50 years since this of transforming that society and what that society now looks like, and having dads stay home and take on more responsibilities, and wives being CEOs and all these things. And so to kind of step back, like the last 50 years haven't happened, to make it comedy. Like I said, it's as a father of three who my kids are my universe. It's insulting to play it out in that place, and that's just how I felt about the whole movie. And you know, just watching this play out, and he destroys the entire house, right? But oh, bull shucks, we can fix that all up just with one big gesture. Um, like I said, there's so many nuggets of comedy in this that can be inspired if you take the pathway of competition between friends, competition between other dads. There's a lot of great movies that have done that and played it off very well and looked at it as a social dynamic, examined that social dynamic of it. And it's just a really great cast put into a vehicle that clearly I feel was probably not written for them. It was written, it's just one of those scripts that probably, like I said, bang around a studio for a while, and then they're like, oh, hey, look what we've got. Let's put these people into it because this will be a great star-turning vehicle for them or whatever. And it just, Nate Bargatze deserved more. Mandy Moore deserved more. The kids who play the daughters are really good, and they deserved more. For the talent that was in this movie, they really deserved a better script. Will Forte, who I find to be hilarious, if you've never seen Last Man on Earth, it's a great show. He deserved better, right? Colin Jost deserved better. Camila Njami deserved better. Everybody deserved better in this film than this. And like I said, just super disappointing because we've had so many original movies this year with so many great voices that examine families and social dynamics. Is This Thing On was a great kind of look at this as a dramatic version of it. Fantasy Life, on and on. Watch the reviews I put through this. So just really disappointing that in the midst of trying to get people back in the theaters, in the midst of these great stories, that they'd put something like this out into the world. And disappointing. Very disappointing.